Good afternoon. Thank you. Welcome to Tulsa Fire Department headquarters, where we are having a brief press conference this afternoon to announce an exciting technology innovation for the Tulsa Fire Department and really the community of Tulsa as a whole. I'm Fire Chief Michael Baker, and when I became the fire chief just under 3 years ago, I committed to Tulsa firefighters that we would create not only a safe workplace, but a safe fire scene. And on the evening of January 29th, Engine 10 was responding to a single vehicle car accident on North Highway 75. And if you recall, that evening, there was ice and winter weather forming in the city. So roadways were slick. Firefighters arrived on the scene with an OHP trooper and placed themselves between the vehicle and the roadway and a retaining wall. A few minutes after their arrival, while working on the incident scene, a vehicle came around the corner and struck the rear of Engine 10, throwing two firefighters over the retaining wall and down an embankment. One injured fairly severely, one injured with minor, and back to work. So to me, that is the worst phone call and the worst notification that you can get, is that when you have a situation where your firefighters are injured and that it's out of your control. So what we're announcing today is the deployment of the HAAS Safety Cloud system across the entire fleet of the Tulsa Fire Department. So what is the HAAS Safety Cloud? It is digital alerting for drivers that appears in their vehicle or on their navigation apps within their car. And why is that important? First off, we have done everything we could possibly do in the fire protection industry to make firefighters safe while operating on roadways. Enhanced emergency lighting. We have redesigned lighting on our new apparatus in the Tulsa Fire Department to ensure that drivers can see us while we're blocking. We have reflective chevrons on the back. Firefighters are trained on how to place apparatus safely on an incident scene. But for some reason, we continue to have accidents that either injure or take the life of firefighters and other emergency workers on incidents such as the one that happened in Tulsa on the 29th. So the difference is, with a digital alerting solution such as HAAS, we are able to reach into the vehicle. We are moving from just being an item on the side that is a late alert to we're trying to upstream the alert notification to ensure that we have a personal connection with that driver and that they know that valuable emergency responders and other highway workers are on scene taking care of an incident. And so what you will see today is a discussion and demonstration of what HAAS alerting will do for our department and our community as well. So first off, it's well known that the fire department has a challenge with supporting its apparatus. And as we get new apparatus into the city, it's very critical not only to protect the firefighters, but the vehicles that they ride in. And so as you can see, the damage on the back of Engine 10 has condemned this vehicle and placed it out of service. The Tulsa Fire Department cannot afford to lose any more fire apparatus to needless accidents. To replace this vehicle alone is approaching near $1 million with a 36 to 42 month manufacturing window. It's not something that we can pull off a lot and get replaced overnight. And we must have these apparatus for reserves, and we have to have them. They're an essential component of our operations and the safety of the city. So ensuring their safety and their reliability is important as well. Finally, I'd like to talk about how we got to the use of HAAS. And first off, I cannot thank our partnership with INCOG. They're here today. We were able to fund this 7-year HAAS subscription for the technology through a partnership with INCOG, and they provided 80% of the funding back to the fire department. So the taxpayers were able to have a minimal impact on the fire department budget, and we were able to get this deployed rapidly. Secondly, the department had just completed a vehicle technology upgrade across the board. The deployment of the HAAS system was seamless. It was a simple download into our existing hardware. So there was no additional cost to the taxpayers or to the citizens of our community related to equipping these apparatus. So it's a very, very easy and successful safety measure that we've put in place to ensure that everyone, not just the firefighters, but the operators on the street, are safe. Additionally, we have our partners from Allied Record here who also use HAAS. So any responder on a highway system can now be protected through this digital technology and have alerting into the driver's vehicles. There's only so much that I can do as a fire chief to achieve my goal of safe fire scene. And this is one more layer that we can add to the Tulsa Fire Department to ensure that our firefighters are safe and other responders that are working with us are safe on the incident scene. And so we thank you for coming out today and celebrating this monumental occasion of deployment of important technology for our safety. I'm going to turn this over to Brock on with HAAS alerting.
Hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure and honor to be here with the Tulsa Fire Department and with the rest of the Tulsa community. We know that digital alerting saves lives. We know that drivers know to slow down and move over, but they need as much warning as they can to know when they need to move over. This is a leading cause of death for first responders, for emergency responders, for everyone that works on the road. So it's very, very exciting indeed to be able to bring this capability to the community of Tulsa and to partner with the fire department to make these roads safer. Our ultimate goal at the HAAS Alert with Safety Cloud is to ensure that everyone can get home safely, not just the people that serve the community at the fire department and these agencies, but also the drivers that share the road with them. And so this is just one additional form of connection and protection that the entire community is going to benefit from. And I promise that we're going to continue doing our job at our work at HAAS Alert to ensure that these alerts get to as many drivers and vehicles as possible. And with partners like Tulsa Fire Department, I have no doubt that we can accomplish that. So thank you very much. Chief, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, so we'll take some questions for Brock or myself, and clearly we have some ability to do some demonstration. Yes, ma'am.
When will drivers notice this? Is this going to start tomorrow? Or?
So currently, drivers will notice this immediately. The system has actually been running for a few weeks now. It's not. It's across all. There's 100. I think we're about 90 vehicles that have it in the fire department fleet. So it's not just fire apparatus. It's all the fleet vehicles have this. And so, yeah, it's been up, and they'll notice the alerts on their systems if they're working or driving near a Tulsa fire incident. Do you have anything? You're looking at me like you have a question, Andy. So.
Speaking about the way that it's delivered, is it through nav systems, or is it through your iPhone or your Android? How does the alert pop up?
So the alerts are currently delivered through two, correct me if I'm wrong, two navigation applications that are on your phone. So that's Waze and Google Maps. Is that right? Oh, Apple Maps? Sorry, let's start that again. It's delivered through two navigation systems available on your phone, Apple Maps and Waze. Additionally, it's available on the in-car navigation systems on Chrysler, Jeep, Fiat products, and many other, what is that auto group? Stellantis Auto Group products. And we have a Jeep here today to be able to demo that for you. Any other questions?
What's the proximity of where the alert gets? I mean, are you within a mile? Is it just like when you're looking at your maps, you can just be anywhere and then just looking at it, like just looking at
Yeah, that's you.
the pointer.
Absolutely. So we've worked closely with automakers and our navigation partners to ensure that these alerts get to the right drivers at the right time. Most drivers are going to receive these alerts typically about a quarter of a mile from the incident. These alerts are designed to be received by the drivers about 20 to 30 seconds before they actually intersect with this hazard. Drivers on average have about 2 to 3 seconds to react when they see light bars before they actually come upon that emergency incident. So this gives drivers much more time to slow down and move over in advance of reaching that hazard.
Brock, we spoke earlier about actions that you all have taken to avoid alert fatigue. We get so many alerts.
That's right.
We spoke about some things you guys have done. So can you speak a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So again, we work very closely with our alerting partners to enable the design of these alerts to be as effective as possible and ensure the safety of not only the responders using them, but also the drivers receiving them. So we've optimized these alerts to ensure that drivers shouldn't receive them unless they're actually coming up upon that incident where the alerts are being delivered from. They're traveling right of way and they're going to intersect with that hazard. So drivers are not going to be receiving these alerts for emergency vehicles and hazards that they're not going to intersect intersect with, unless an emergency vehicle suddenly changes its position or trajectory and it ends up not intersecting with the vehicle in an intersection or something like that. Ultimately, our goal here is to optimize these alerts so that drivers only get alerted when the moment is necessary for them to put their attention on the road, and the alert is delivered in a way that they can get their attention and then put their attention back on the road. That is one of the reasons why we're so excited to work directly with automakers to get these in the dashboard of vehicles, because ideally we'd like for drivers not to have to use a third-party app or a mobile device if necessary, but the benefit of alerting on these navigation apps ensures that no matter what people are driving, they can receive these alerts if they want to.
Brock, have there been any studies about the work that you all have done and how it affected heart braking and things like that?
Absolutely, yes. So there's been studies done both on advanced warning and digital alerting specifically, and the efficacy of improving driver behavior around roadside hazards. We know that whenever you give drivers advanced warning, compared to lights and sirens, it reduces the likelihood of collision by about 90% through a University of Minnesota study. We also had the opportunity to work closely with Purdue University in Indiana to study the impact of digital alerting on driver behavior as they approach roadside incidents, and they found that the use of digital alerting reduced the likelihood of hard braking by 80%. Drivers were 80% less likely to slam on their brakes when passing by roadside incidents. And at the time that study was done, those alerts were exclusively being delivered to only about 30% of drivers on the road using Waze, so that we know that the more drivers receive these alerts, the less danger there is for people on the road, because there's a net effect of improvement in safe behavior.
Last question for me. So the vehicles that are equipped to automatically receive these alerts, not the apps through your phone.
That's right.
Is it only new cars that you purchase now, or is there a way to?
It's a great question. So one of the great things about digital alerting is that this is being done over networks and technology that's already equipped on vehicles that are on the road today. So for instance, in the case of Stellantis was able to activate these alerts on 2018 and newer model year Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Chrysler, and Alfa Romeo vehicles, because those vehicles already had cellular capabilities. So you're likely to see more automakers announcing these alerts in the months and years ahead, and they'll be able to activate these alerts on vehicles that are on the road today, rather than having to only limit them to the latest and greatest vehicles out there.
Any other questions?
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Of course, absolutely.
Thanks everybody for coming. We appreciate you.